Okay, so you've met someone who thinks rally racers just floor it and hope for the best. Or maybe they believe rally bikes are just dirt bikes with stickers. Yeah, it's time to set the record straight. Rally racing is full of myths, and honestly, some of them are just plain silly. We're going to ditch the rally rider stereotypes and get right into the real stuff, the technical truth behind 15 dumb rally myths. Ready to separate fact from fiction? Well, let's get rolling. Rally riders go full throttle all the time. Let's start with a super common one. The idea that rally racers are always riding at full throttle. You might picture them just pinning the gas and flying through the desert non-stop. Sounds wild, right? Well, not really. Rally racing isn't just about constant max speed. It's actually way more about being smart with speed and making your bike last. Think about it. These races are crazy long, like multiple days, covering thousands of miles of brutal terrain. If you were just flat out all the time, your engine would blow up, your suspension would give out, and you'd be done for way before the finish line. Rally riders spend most of their time carefully managing the throttle, picking the right gears, and being smooth. It's about being fast when you can be, but also knowing when to back off to save the bike and stay in control. Imagine driving your car at top speed everywhere you go. It's just not going to work, and rally racing is the same idea, just way tougher conditions. Bigger engines mean faster rally times. Next up, the myth that bigger engines are always better, especially for rally racing. It's easy to think a huge 1000cc engine would crush a smaller 450cc one in the desert. But in rally, bigger isn't necessarily faster or better. In fact, rally bikes are usually around 450cc. Why? Because in rally, being light and easy to handle is way more important than having crazy horsepower. A big engine adds weight. Add in sand, rocks, and rough terrain, and weight is your enemy. You want a bike that you can throw around, that's nimble in tight spots, and doesn't wear you out fighting it all day. A smaller engine in a lighter bike is much easier to manage for hours on end. Think about it like this. It's better to have a nimble mountain bike than a heavy truck when you're going up a steep hill. Rally is about endurance and control, not just raw power. GPS and navigation systems do all the work. Here's a myth that really underestimates rally riders, that they just follow a GPS like you do in your car. People think they just punch in the route and let the GPS do the rest. Nope, not even close. Rally navigation is super old school and seriously tough. Riders mainly use something called a road book, which is like a paper scroll with symbols and notes about the route. They also use compass headings and waypoints. They have to figure out where they are and where to go themselves using these tools. A GPS is usually only for tracking and safety, not for turn-by-turn directions. One wrong turn in the desert based on a misread roadbook note, and you can be totally lost, wasting tons of time and maybe even getting disqualified. It's way more about skill and careful reading than just blindly following a screen. The hardest part of rally racing is the speed. Okay, speed is definitely part of rally racing, but the myth that it's the hardest part is way off. Rally is way more than just a speed contest. The real challenge is a mix of mental toughness, navigation skill, and keeping your bike alive. Imagine riding for 10 to 12 hours every day, battling extreme heat or cold, crazy rough terrain, and being totally exhausted. You have to make super quick decisions all day long, decisions that can mean winning or crashing out. Navigation errors, mechanical problems, and just plain fatigue are bigger enemies than the clock sometimes. It's like running a marathon while solving puzzles and fixing your shoes every few miles. It's about surviving and being smart, not just being fast. Rally bikes are just modified dirt bikes. This one's a big misunderstanding, that rally bikes are just dirt bikes with a few tweaks. While they start with some dirt bike DNA, rally bikes are seriously different. They're built from the ground up for long-distance endurance, high-speed stability, and carrying tons of extra fuel. Think about it. They need to go hundreds of miles between fuel stops in the middle of nowhere. Rally bikes have super strong frames, massive fuel tanks, and better cooling to handle desert heat, and special suspension built for high-speed stability over rough ground. They are like purpose-built machines, not just dirt bikes with bigger gas tanks. It's like comparing a regular pickup truck to a Dakar Rally support truck. Both are trucks, but one is built for a very specific extreme job. So, rally bikes are not dirt bikes, but are they at least based on motocross bikes? Surely they take a motocross bike and add a few things on? Well, actually, it's more complicated than that, and the history of rally bike design is pretty interesting. Did you know that early Dakar bikes were basically road bikes turned off-road? Rally riders never get lost. The myth that rally riders are like desert navigation gods who never get lost is just funny. Even the best rally riders get lost all the time. The desert and the terrain are confusing, and road books are not always perfect. Good rally riders are experts at getting back on track quickly. They recognize terrain features, double-check their compass headings, and use their instincts to find their way again. Getting lost is part of rally racing. It's how you deal with it that counts. Imagine hiking in a dense forest. Even with a map, you can take a wrong turn, but true bikers know how to backtrack and find their way. Falling means the race is over. Thinking a crash in rally racing means game over? Nope. Crashing is basically guaranteed. The terrain is brutal, and riders are pushing their limits for days. The best rally riders know how to crash safely, or as safely as possible. They learn how to fall without wrecking themselves or the bike too badly. They get up, check for damage, and keep going. Sometimes they ride with broken parts, injuries, or missing gear. As long as the bike still runs and they can keep going, they do. Rally racers are tough, and giving up easily isn't in their nature. It's like a boxer getting knocked down. The fight isn't over until they can't get back up. The fastest rider always wins. Thinking the fastest guy always wins rally racing? Wrong again. Rally isn't just a flat-out speed race. The winner is usually the smartest rider, not necessarily the fastest. It's all about balancing speed with smart navigation, mechanical sympathy, and just plain endurance. A rider who goes all out, balls to the wall, might be fast for a while, but they'll probably crash, get lost, or break their bike before they reach the finish. Consistent speed, careful navigation, and taking care of your machine are way more important than just being the fastest for short bursts. It's like a long-distance race. Pacing yourself and strategy beats sprinting from the start. Only factory teams can win. Here's a myth that discourages a lot of people. The idea that only riders on factory teams can win rally races. Factory teams with big sponsors and tons of support definitely have advantages. But privateers, regular riders without factory backing, have won major rally races before. Rally success is way more about skill, smarts, and determination than just having a huge budget. Privateers often have to be more resourceful, fix their own bikes, and rely on their own grit. While factory support helps, it doesn't guarantee a win. Think of it like climbing a mountain. Having the best gear helps, but it's your own strength and will that get you to the top. Look up riders like Lyndon Poskett. Privateers can seriously raise the competition. Sand dunes are the hardest terrain. Lots of people picture rally racing as all sand dunes all the time and think dunes are the toughest part. While sand dunes are definitely challenging, riders often say other terrains are even harder. Think about rocky trails, sharp desert cliffs, surprise flash floods, and deep sticky mud. Sand can be tiring and tricky, but at least it's usually soft if you crash. Crashing on jagged rocks or sliding down a cliff is way more dangerous, and unpredictable weather can turn any terrain into a nightmare. Rally riders have to be ready for anything the desert throws at them, and sand is just one piece of the puzzle. Rally riders can sleep whenever they want. Thinking rally riders get to chill in a comfy bed and sleep as much as they want? Dream on. Most rally riders get just a few hours of sleep each night, if that. And often, before they can even think about sleep, they have to work on their bikes. Many rally stages start super early, like 4 a.m., which means riders are basically running on fumes. Fatigue is one of the biggest dangers in rally racing. Lack of sleep messes with your focus, your decision making, and your reaction time. Rally riders learn to function on very little sleep, but it's a constant battle. It's like being a new parent. You learn to survive on crazy low sleep levels, but it's definitely not easy. Rally bikes are indestructible. Now here's a funny myth, that rally bikes are like tanks, totally indestructible. They are tough for sure, built to take a beating, but they break down just like any machine. Engines overheat, suspension parts fail, tires get shredded on rocks, and fuel tanks crack from crashes. Riders have to be part mechanic, knowing how to fix things on the fly in the middle of nowhere. If you can't fix your own bike, you're in big trouble in a rally. Imagine thinking a race car never needs maintenance just because it's built for racing. All machines have limits and need care. You can win a rally without mechanical knowledge. Building on the last myth, thinking you can win a rally without knowing how to turn a wrench? Absolutely not. If you don't know basic bike mechanics, you won't last long in rally racing. In most rally events, there's no outside help allowed during the race stages. Riders have to fix everything themselves. A simple thing like a broken chain or a punctured fuel line can end your race if you don't know how to fix it. Rally riders carry tools and spare parts and have to be able to diagnose problems and repair their bikes in tough conditions. Often in the dark, exhausted. Mechanical skills are as important as riding skills in rally. It's like thinking you can sail around the world without knowing anything about boat maintenance. You'll be sunk pretty quickly. Rally riders are just enduro or motocross racers. This one is partly true but also misleading, that rally riders are just enduro or motocross racers. Many rally riders do come from those backgrounds, but rally racing needs a totally different set of skills. Sure, good off-road riding skills are important, but rally adds layers of complexity. Navigation precision, endurance riding for days on end, mechanical problem solving, and adapting to constantly changing terrain are just as crucial as pure riding talent. Enduro and motocross are about short bursts of intense riding. Rally is a marathon of skill and survival. It's like saying a sprinter is the same as a marathon runner. Both are runners, but they train for very different challenges. Here's the twist that might blow your mind. Think about the very first rally races, like the Paris-Dakar. They weren't even really about racing in the way we think of it now. They started almost as an adventure, a crazy challenge across continents. The early events had very loose rules, navigation was even more basic, and the bikes were just often modified street bikes. It was less about who was fastest and more about who could survive the incredible journey. The whole idea was about pushing limits, exploring unknown territories, and seeing if humans and machines could conquer these insane distances and terrains. The competitive racing aspect grew over time, but the original spirit was about adventure and human versus nature, not just winning trophies. So, in a way, the biggest myth of all might be that rally racing is only about racing. It's still got that core of crazy adventure in its DNA. And you can train for rally racing in a few months. Finally, the myth that you can just decide to do a rally and be ready in just a few months. This is a serious underestimation of what it takes. Thinking a few months of training will make you a competitive rally racer? Not a chance. Top rally riders train for years and years, building up the skills you need. Navigation, endurance, bike maintenance, experience in extreme conditions takes a long time. It's not something you can cram for. It's about years of riding, learning, failing, and improving. Think of it like becoming a concert pianist. You can't just practice for a few months and expect to play at Carnegie Hall. Rally racing is the same. It demands dedication and a huge time investment to even be ready to safely participate, let alone compete at a high level. That's 15 rally myths busted. We've left the silly stereotypes behind and looked at the real technical reasons why these common beliefs are wrong. Remember, smart and safe rally riding is about skill, knowledge, and being prepared, not about myths. Rally racing is tough, demanding, and amazing. Got another rally myth that bugs you? Throw it in the comments. We might tackle it next time. Enjoyed this straight-talking, no-nonsense rally content? Smash that like button, subscribe, and join our crew. Until next time, keep the rubber side down and the road book rolling.